So today, AI, automation, and the Chamber of Secrets. How do we come up with this idea for our breakout session? We think AI is kind of magical, kind of mystical, brand new for a lot of people, definitely advanced a ton, as you've heard in the general sessions. And we thought, this is a magical thing. What is magical? Harry Potter. Let's make this about Harry Potter a little bit. We want to have fun. We want this to be interesting. We don't want to be boring, so I hope we accomplish that today. I'm Coleman Wilson. Here we go. Senior Manager Business Intelligence at Henry Schein One.
I'm Nathan Kilcrease. I'm a data scientist at Henry Schein One.
And our favorite part of Domopalooza, anyone here in the Domo community? Couple people. I'm really involved in the Domo community. Last year, Community Member of the Year. But my favorite part about the Domo community and Domopalooza is connecting with people. So please, there's a lot of QR codes in our presentation. Here's the next one. Please scan this QR code, connect with Nathan and I on LinkedIn so we can keep chatting about all things data, AI, and Domo. A little bit about me before we get started. Outside of Domo, I love to travel. I live up in the mountains right outside Salt Lake here in Wasatch Cache National Forest. Love backpacking, camping, hanging out with my cat. Professionally, I was introduced to Domo in 2015, a decade ago, which is like crazy to say. A decade ago, introduced to Domo by this guy right here on the front row. I was doing other stuff, finance. He's like, that's boring. Check out Domo. Get out of Excel. And haven't looked back since. Major Domo certified in 2020. Did a Master's of Science in Information Systems in 2021. Became a Domo community coach in 2023. Last year, Domo Ovation Award winner, Domopalooza presenter, panelist. Back again this year to present again. Super excited to be back here.
My name's Nathan. As you can see, we're wearing Harry Potter robes, so I love Universal Studios. I love Disney World, so you can see me with Frozone up there. I love that photo. A few other hobbies. I like Lego. I'm a huge fan of Lego. My entire team knows that. So when they mentioned it on main stage, I was very excited. I love food. I love to ski. I hope to be skiing with a few of you at Snow Basin on Friday. That's going to be fun. But professionally, I've been using Domo since the beginning of my career. I graduated in 2020. I was introduced to Domo actually by Coleman and our friend John down here. And I got certified as a major Domo admin in 2022. After that, I got my master's in data science, and I thought, how can we kind of combine the power of Domo and the data science expertise that I have at the company I'm working at now? And that kind of led to the product we're about to show you guys and was apparently worthy enough to present at Domopalooza.
Awesome. So a little bit about the company that Nathan and I worked at. Actually, when we were introduced to Domo, we were a company called PackSize, and we're back working together again here today at Henry Schein One. Henry Schein One is the world's largest dental software company. Our headquarters is in American Fork, Utah, actually right across the street from the Domo headquarters, so I can look out my window and wave over at them. But a little bit more about Henry Schein One. Care Catalysts. Our most used product is Dentrix, which is a practice management software. We are in 75,000 dental practices around the world. 750,000 dental professionals use our products on a daily basis. So next time you go in for your cleaning, ask them about Henry Schein One, Dentrix, if they use any of our products. Chances are very high that they do. Our software enables data-driven decisions, and it's end-to-end. Just like Domo's kind of this end-to-end software, the software products that we provide at Henry Schein One are for dentists, end-to-end, everything from getting you into the door, patient experience, to starting imaging and clinical, everything the dentist needs to run their practice, and then after you leave, process claims, get paid, everything end-to-end, and then analytics all along the way. Okay, so why DomoGPT? You've heard a lot about ChatGPT, ShackGPT, Nathan Kilcrease GPT, I think is the next one we need to get going. But you've heard a lot about it, and it's a fantastic tool that we wanted to use in Domo, so we were really excited when they announced DomoGPT. However, we went on a journey first before we got there. So we had some problems. Every solution usually starts with a problem. First problem, lots of text data, no time to read through it all, which led to, okay, well, let's get a text analysis tool. That's the next problem. No budget, potentially for a text analysis tool, which led to the next problem. Even if we had that budget, how do we integrate all of this text data that we have into that tool? And then the next problem, even if we could integrate, InfoSec says no, right? The Ministry of Magic blocked it. They said, no way, not using, not using that. They said no to like using ChatGPT. I'm sure many of you had to take trainings, got emails. Do not put company data into ChatGPT, which maybe we followed, maybe we didn't, but we tried to follow it.
We did follow it, if you're listening.
We did follow it. We did not put the data into, crossing my fingers, into DomoGPT, ChatGPT rather. So then, with all these problems, I guess the ultimate solution is give up. Thank you for coming. That's the end. No. No. No, not give up. Solution is DomoGPT. So DomoGPT, for those that have used it, was introduced, about just under a year ago, I think, is when we got it in our instance and started playing around with it. And it's got some really cool features. So some key points about DomoGPT. DomoGPT will only work with the data that you ingest into the Domo platform. So it doesn't use any of your data to like train any AI models or any third-party models that Domo may use in its AI offerings. It's also hosted within Domo's secure private cloud on AWS infrastructure via Amazon Bedrock. Customer data remains within that Domo ecosystem, within that controlled environment, so all of the full suite of Domo data protection measures are in place. Also, AWS does not log or store your customer prompts, which can be embarrassing. I've had been sharing my screen in ChatGPT before, and it has my previous prompts on the side. No, it does not do that. It does not store your previous prompts or completions, and they don't have access to that data. Additionally, all these requests in DomoGPT are confined to Domo's private cloud. They don't interact with any public, external, or non-Domo hosted endpoints. So basically, if you're comfortable bringing data into Domo, using it in Magic ETL, or anywhere else in Domo, you should also feel comfortable using DomoGPT because it's doing the same stuff, same protections, same controls are in place. Of course, SOC 1, SOC 2, GDPR, compliance, all that good stuff that Domo does so well with the rest of your data, it's also doing with data you're using with DomoGPT. And this also applies not just to DomoGPT, but also all the AI features, chat, Beast Mode Assistant, AI services for apps, bricks, workflows, and AI model management.
At this point, you've heard a lot about DomoGPT, but we have yet to see it in action. That's where I come in. You came and you scanned a QR code, and you want to see why you did that. That's what I'm here to explain. This is an example of you all. You all are wizards along with us, but you're here
and
for...
witches.
And witches, apologies. And magical folk. Here for a student orientation for Hogwarts. And so you answered a few questions on that QR code. But imagine for yourself if you are a customer, let's say, and you took a similar survey. This could be for a product, maybe like an NPS survey, let's say, and you kind of input that into Domo. How we collected it is you actually filled out an embedded custom Domo brick. That was done through Pro Code Editor. So that symbol there with the brackets is to kind of symbolize we created a custom solution for gathering survey data. But that stuff gets collected into what's called a collection, which is like a JSON data set for Domo. And so it's all pushed to the Domo cloud. After that, the next step kind of in this process is that it gets pushed into a Jupyter workspace. Now, once again, that's hosted on Domo, and that's also where DomoGPT kind of comes in. With Domo's AI service layer, we're actually able to take all of your responses that you just filled out in real time. You saw me working on my computer a little bit, and actually process given what you gave us, and then ask DomoGPT, hey, for this individual, based on their character traits and what they're looking forward to most, try to put them into one of the 4 houses, basically be the sorting hat. Not just that, but we also asked it, can you create a custom message for every single person pretending to be the sorting hat, kind of personifying him, and then prepare it to send back to that customer. And then that's where that third step comes in. That symbol is actually for Twilio, which is a third-party texting software. But we actually used inside Domo a custom code engine function within a workflow that can now automate sending that message to all of you. All of that kind of connected within the Domo cloud, it then comes back to you, and we have that kind of customer cycle finished. Now, that was an example of what we can do in this room, and I'm about to show you, but you can see how this can kind of branch out into your business circumstances. Maybe you don't want to directly text your customer whenever you've categorized them, but categorizing them in this way using a large language model can be super helpful. If we know that a customer, based on how they like or dislike our product, will interact with us, we can then group them together and maybe give that info to like maybe our sales team or a CSM or somebody who can interact and actually has a relationship with them. And this is really streamlining a lot of this textual data we haven't gotten to interact with yet. Okay, I'm gonna show you, if we can switch over to my laptop, I'll actually show you this is the form you guys just filled out. If you scanned the QR code at the beginning, you saw this. This was done in Pro Code Editor. Now that process I just showed you, we've kind of streamlined it onto a simple app. What I did before we started this presentation is I actually clicked this button right here, Begin Assigning Houses. That kicked off the workflow that started the Jupyter workspace, and it actually analyzed all of you guys. And once it finishes, I'm actually gonna click this other button that launches another workflow that texts all of you that opted in to be texted. Before we do that, I have one more thing to tell you guys. Have you guys ever heard of an infomercial before? Like Billy Mays, you know, like OxyClean, that kind of a thing. They usually have a product that they're selling you, and like halfway through, they have that line they always say. They're like, but wait, there's more. And then they hold your attention. That's what this is. That's what this part of the presentation is, because we didn't just stop there. Because we have a whole room worth of data. And sure, we've maybe categorized you guys, but we don't really understand I'll say the vibes of the room. Like, what are some things, some insights we can pull out of this room of 300 people? And that is where the next evolution or step of this Domo AI service layer solution comes in. We created another custom pro code app that uses DomoGPT, Domo's AI service layer, and compiles a lot of these, we'll say, student surveys, and then it lets us ask a question. If I click on this drop-down menu, I have a curated list of questions, and I can ask, what are these students most looking forward to learning at Hogwarts? And then I click Analyze, and it analyzes a bunch of students. It runs through them. It's gonna take a second to load here, and then boom, it'll have our output. And now I can read, based on a room full of people, what people are most looking forward to. It looks like they're looking forward to attending the Yule Ball, brewing potions with Snape, competing in the Triwizard Tournament, unraveling secrets of the Room of Requirements, and learning spells in Charms class. You guys are very creative, by the way. I love that. But this is something you could use in a lot of different instances, especially with maybe like case data or survey data that you just don't know what to do with. It takes a bunch of, this is 300 responses, right? You would never want to read through this, but it compiles it into a very digestible, easy to read format.
Woo, pretty cool, huh? Yeah, pretty sweet. Pretty freaking sweet. But Nathan, one frustration I have attending many Domopaloozas now is a lot of people like us get up, show some cool thing they made, and then you're like, in the audience, sweet, now what am I supposed to do with that? I don't know how to do Pro Code Editor. I can't write JavaScript. I don't know how to use, all of these things that you're doing. I'm not a data scientist, whatever, I'm not technical, on and on and on frustrations where it's like, that was entertaining watching you show off your cool thing. I can't do anything about it, and that's always been really frustrating to me.
Wow, really sexy of you, Coleman. That's gotta be terrible.
It is. It's horrible.
Coleman, but wait, there's more. I am Billy Mays. We didn't stop there, okay? We wanted to leave you guys with something to take home with you. That's why we worked with the Domo team to take this very app and put it on the Domo App Store for you guys to download today. If we can switch back over to the presentation, this is another QR code. We said we had a lot of these, but if you scan this one right now, it'll take you to the Domo AI, DomoGPT app. And then you can download it and input your own survey data, case data, whatever textual data you have, and analyze it. You can ask whatever questions you want. You can look at however many rows of data you want. It will do it for you. I have seen so many different companies and businesses that have all of this data that's in this messy textual format, and they're not doing anything with it. We created this app to do something with it. And you can go home, download this app today, put your data in there today, and get real actionable insights today.
Pretty sweet, pretty sweet. Can we swap back to the laptop? Awesome. So I wanted to real quick walk through and show you how quick and easy this is. So from Domo, you just go to the App Store, search Domo AI, all one word. Boom, it's the only one that comes up. We packaged this, published it to the App Store, so you can come in, click Get. You can then choose a dashboard, create a new dashboard. Let's create a new one. It will then create the app. And boom, here we go. We have a template to start with to work through. So the reason I wanted to demo this part, this is all Nathan's creation, but I wanted to show you it because I'm not nearly as technical as Nathan is. I'm not a data scientist. I don't know all the coding languages that he does, but I want to show you how even someone like me and many of you can still use this in a productive way. So the steps are outlined when you open up the DDX brick. You can go through step 1, step 2, follow the instructions. So step 1, select the data set. I'm going to keep the Hogwarts student data just for the sake of this, but you can select any data set that you have in your instance. Step 2, you need to come down and create a list of questions to ask DomoGPT. So as you saw when Nathan was demoing, he clicked the drop down and there were 2 preloaded questions that he created. So we need to do that same thing. So I can come down here and I can keep that first one, I think, what is mentioned most within this data. I can also add another one, something like maybe what are 5 interesting things in this data? Perfect. Move on to step 3, fill out the below fields. So these question 1, answer 1 are already mapped to my data. But in your data, of course, you'll just need to make sure you map the question field and the answer field to match your data. That's already done for me here. And then the other thing that's important is you need to give DomoGPT context for your data. So I'm just going to go ahead and change this from customers to presentation attendees. Okay, and that's it. Then I can click, one other thing is I can also update the title here from DomoGPT textual analysis to Harry Potter AI analysis.
Also happy Potter, yes, he's very happy.
I'm just happy, guys. I'm just excited. Happy's on my mind. All right. Click Save and Finish. Boom, pops up. Here is my not built from scratch, built from a template, downloaded from the App Store, Harry Potter AI analysis. Let's test it out. Live demos are scary. Cross your fingers. There we go. Perfect. So now we got our responses. You can see there, based on the survey data, asking what three traits. I thought I said 5. Here are the interesting observations. Diversity of responses. Answers range from personality traits, physical characteristics, blah, 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 all the interesting things that DomoGPT found within the data. But how cool is that? Someone like me, not even technical, can download this from the App Store, power it up, connect my data, and get real answers from DomoGPT from this app. Pretty sweet. Thank you. Okay, so that was dummy data, which is interesting. But how would we use this in a real life, real business context setting? So I want to give you a real example of how we used this exact app to answer one of our executives' questions. Our CEO came to us and said, hey, I want you to do a cross-functional collaboration survey. I want to see how marketing is working with finance, working with accounting. I want to make sure they're all working well together. The problem is that we administered that survey, and she also wanted open-ended text questions, like justify why you gave them a 0 out of 10. And so we had all this text data, and we're like, cool, here's your mountain of text. And she's like, I'm a busy executive. There's no way I'm going to be able to read through all this. You got to be kidding. Can't we use AI, something like that? So we're like, actually, Nathan built this awesome AI analysis app that we can plug that data into and surface those insights. We also then, as you saw, curated the drop-down options to make sure we're kind of guiding her experience as well. And she was able to ask it things like, which departments are struggling the most to collaborate? What seem to be the biggest issues with collaboration between departments? So she was able to get these bite-sized, summarized answers from mountains and mountains of text. It was easy enough that she was able to use it, fast enough that she as an executive could use it.
Another use case we found was with the support team. They actually came to us and they had a lot of cases, very high case volume. We actually have, as a company, something like 50 products. And so there's a lot of granularity when it comes to the types of cases that people submit to us. But what they wanted to see was trends over time. They wanted to be able to look at maybe, let's say, the past 2 weeks of support cases that were submitted and be able to ask the question, what are people most asking about? What are problems people are coming up with most? Really hard to do that when it's a support case and someone just types in a free text field, here's my problem, help me fix it, right? But what we could do with this app, we added a few extra buttons and filters where you can look at, I'd like to look at this specific product for this specific range of time, and then give me top 5, top 10 things, and also maybe tell me what were the solutions that were come up with by our technical team to help these people out. And so being able to look at something like the past 2 weeks, the past month, being able to see trends as time goes on, not just with numerical, but textual data, turn out to be very, very profitable. Now, I promised you guys at the beginning that I would send you all some texts, and the time has come. It didn't take too long to run. Looks like it ran 12 minutes ago, which is perfect. So another part of a live demo is we're going to click this button. It's going to launch a workflow, and hopefully it sends out the texts. Let's see if it did that. Now, if the Ministry of Magic gets in the way here, then we'll know why.
Freaking Umbridge. She's the worst. Trying to shut us down.
Okay. I got text because I am on a testing row. But if anyone else got a text,
Pull your phones out.
pull your phones out. I'm going to ask you to do that because no one else in this entire convention is going to ask you to pull your phones out. But you can pull your phones out if you submitted a response and got a text.
I'm
We got a
hearing
text in.
dings. I'm hearing vibrations.
Yes, yes. Raise your hand if you got one. We got some raised. Perfect. Would anyone like to read what house they got and the reasoning behind it?
Wait. Before you do that, does anyone want to volunteer to come down, put the sorting hat on, and read find out from the sorting hat, rather, their house assignment? Any volunteers out there that'll come down, put the sorting hat on? This gentleman in the front, come on down. Got Flo here with the microphone.
Oh, you can, yeah. Is it okay if I put this on your head? Okay. Yeah. Oh, I am so sorry.
There we go. All right. It says, "Greetings, young wizard. I am the Sorting Hat, and I declare you're a member of the Ravenhall class, house. Your sharp mind, persistence, and cleverness align perfectly with Ravenclaw's values, and your eagerness to learn new spells demonstrates your thirst for knowledge that Rowena Ravenclaw herself would admire."
Woo! We got a Ravenclaw. Thank you so much. Thank you. Sorry, what was your name? Michael, thank you so much. One cool thing I want to point out, Michael, is not only did the sorting house sort you or classify you, right? Think classification model. Not only did it classify you, but because we're also using AI and DomoGPT, it explained to you the reasoning behind its selection to classify you there. So if you think back to the old days before AI, it could do, we could do classification, but then it was up to us to try and be able to explain why we think that it made that decision. So very good. One other volunteer. Someone else come down right here. Is that a Harry Potter scarf even?
Oh, my.
All right.
Slytherin.
Woo! Woo!
Let's see if we got it right, though.
This is the big moment because I think that's a Slytherin scarf. So if the sorting hat gets this wrong, we're in big trouble.
We are. She's not a plant, we swear.
Greetings, young wizard. I am the Sorting Hat, and I declare you belong in Slytherin.
Let's go. Let's go.
Oh, let's go.
Your cunning and sharp mind, coupled with your inquisitive nature and eagerness to master the art of potions, clearly mark you as a true Slytherin at heart.
Wow.
Incredible. Incredible. Thank you so much. Once again, love that I got it right, which is awesome. I don't know about Ravenclaw up here, but got it right, which is awesome. And then also justified its decision to make that classification.
Anybody else who got one? You don't have to come up, but just raise of hands. Who got Slytherin? I'm a Slytherin.
Yeah, where's the Slytherins
Represent
at?
the Slytherins in the house. We got a few. Woo, we got the
Classic.
scarf. Everybody love it. You know, we're underappreciated, I'll say.
Okay, where's the Gryffindor? Gryffindor out here, a couple. Wow, not as many as I would have thought. Any Ravenclaws out there? We know we got at least one.
Here we go. We got a few.
And then, you don't have to raise your hand because it's kind of embarrassing. Any
Yeah, it'd be a
Hufflepuffs
Hufflepuff.
out there? Okay.
Oh, eager. Okay. Wow.
Just kidding.
There's a boost in there. Okay, I love it.
Just kidding.
Represent.
Just kidding.
When you get a text, talk to me afterward. It was probably the Ministry of Magic. I'll be honest.
Yeah, it's probably the Ministry of Magic. Also, we had to kick it off. We had to cut off the
Yes,
time,
so
so
if you-
people probably submitted after. Anyway, we will make sure to get you your results if you didn't. You can also just keep using that form, keep resubmitting it. If you want to share it with friends and family, see what house they are, feel free to do that. All of those consumption credits, it's a Domo provided instance, so go crazy. We're not paying for it, so run it as many times as you want. Feel free to do that. Cool. Well, hope you guys had a lot of fun. We asked you guys a couple questions about your houses. We'd also want to make sure we have some time. Unless you have anything else you want to say before we go to
No, I just want to hear questions. I mean, it seems like
Q&A.
this is a lot of new stuff. So if you guys have questions, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, so Flo's got a mic here. If you have two mics, front and back. If you have any questions that are easy for us to answer, please. Ravenclaw.
Yeah, so I noticed your questions in the form was question 1, answer 1, question 2, answer 2. Could this be worked to if you had all your questions in one column and all your answers in another, or do you have to pivot them out?
Yeah, so I did it as in a way that would hopefully be easy to understand from someone who is less technical. If you are technical, if it's formatted like that, I would say you could probably just pivot the data and then just extrapolate the questions out into another column. But usually we want it to be where, okay, I know what my question is that I asked people, I know what my answers were, and so we tried to make it outlined as easy as possible. For ours, especially because we're not going to be giving this to anyone except for our internal technical team, I have it formatted slightly different, exactly how actually you explained it, but just for you guys who wanted to streamline it.
However, once again, this is just a template, so feel free to do whatever you want to it, right?
Yeah,
Modify it however you'd like to fit your data.
Have you guys seen any issues with data hallucination or accuracy? I'm right over here. Any issues with data accuracy and summarizations, or even just like completely random responses? And how did you work through those?
Yeah, I'll take it first. You saw one actually in the live demo where it said 3, but I really asked 5. So I have noticed a little bit, but honestly, it's pretty good. Similar to how, DomoGPT, or ChatGPT rather, can hallucinate and have issues, ask it how many R's are in Raspberry. It's not going to be able to do it. Maybe they fixed that.
They hard-coded it. Yeah.
They hard-coded it in. Perfect. So there is the chance that could happen. AI is not perfect, and we didn't have any disclaimers. We probably ought to, but like any other AI tool, there's a chance there's going to be some errors and inconsistencies. Nathan.
And we also have this next to our other textual data that we have verified. And so there's something that people, when they do receive that info, they can kind of test it against. So it's not just kind of sitting there isolated, floating in midair. When we have NPS data, we also have NPS scores. We have case data for sport cases. We also have amount of calls and those kind of dipping up and down in those categorizations. So they're kind of pair well together. We have a question right here.
Here's the mic first.
Oh, we got in the back. Yes, more of a technical question, but you're talking about syncing a collection to a data set, yes? Yes, so how we did it in the workflow was there's actually a code engine function that lets you sync a collection. And so we sync the collection, we wait till it finishes syncing, and then we can run a process on it. All you have to do is just grab the ID from the URL and then stick it into the code engine function. So.
Data that is there in AppDB, can we also access it from the Jupyter notebook?
Jupyter Workspace? Yeah. Yes, that's exactly what I'm doing, actually. Yes.
Yep, thank you.
What about partitioning the data? So you had a couple of scenarios with departments, say, that you were talking about in your experience. And so it may be, were you able to partition by department? You know, and I'm asking the question in the context of tenancy. If you have multi-tenant data and you have you have DomoGPT pointing at it, are you able to partition responses so that other people aren't seeing someone else's data?
So
Were you? That's the question.
yeah, the mic wasn't working, so I don't know if everyone heard. Let me repeat back the question. Basically, just if we're partitioning the data, right? Where the example I gave was our CEO wanted to see all these different departments. Could we say, hey, finance, you can only see finance, accounting, you can only see accounting, marketing, so on. So it's a two-part question. I'll take first part and you take second part. The first part is, did we? No, because it was just for the CEO. We were comfortable with her seeing everything. No one else was looking at it but her. The question of, is it possible?
Yes, it's possible. Again, it's pro code editor. I mean, we can do anything we want in there. PDP still applies as well. So if you wanted to set up PDP department level, probably based on the department of the user that's actually initiating the, clicking the analyze button, they only have access to the data you give them. So you could maybe just PDP the entire data set based on department and then have them ask a similar question, but it'd be tailored to the data they're allowed to see.
Great question.
Yeah.
Any other?
Hi, so I was a little late. You guys may have already said this or not, but I'm wondering about, you guys mentioned you did one for your support team, which, fantastic idea. But how do you kind of manage the credit usage for that? I'm a little worried somebody's gonna go in there and just hammer it with questions all day long, and next you know we're out of credits or have to pay more for it. Do you guys have any tips on that?
Yeah. One reason why we use a drop-down menu, actually, because we don't want them to just ask any questions we want. It also helps reduce the hallucinations when we've kind of tested questions we know that DomoGPT can answer well with the data we give it. We also don't have like an official pricing structure with DomoGPT quite yet. We kind of know like a rough amount, but we're only using one call to DomoGPT per process. And if we have a drop-down list, so they're probably not going to use it more than once or twice a day. How we've also done it, if you test out the app, is it saves the most recent request right there. So if you have a request you ask often, or you just want to ask once a week and just have there for you, you can ask it once, it'll save it to a collection, and then it'll just sit there until you ask it another one. So that's kind of how we reduce credit usage.
Great question. And in the consumption document that you can see online that's always being updated, there is a section on Domo AI, and I think it's like 0.2 per whatever.
Yeah, it's AI
widget.
chat.
Yeah. But I think it applies the same to DomoGPT. Don't know for sure. Talk to your CSM, AE for sure, because I don't want you to have to spend a bunch of money on stuff you don't want to spend money on. So, right here. We didn't.
Okay, so
We did not.
Is
Yeah.
it random, knowing based on what someone writes that they should
Not
be
random.
Slytherin?
No, so yeah, so the question is, how did we train the AI model? The answer is we did not train it, and it is not random. It's actually taking your responses, and then the black box of AI, it's making a decision on how to classify you. And if you got the text back, it should, below your house, explain why it put you into that house.
Already knew about Harry Potter.
Yes.
Got it.
Yep. Got it. Okay, anything else?
Great question. Oh, sorry, one more comment I want to make about that is earlier when we were talking about why DomoGPT, one of the key points I brought up is that your data is not used to train any kind of models or external models. So it's very important that I also mention that when you bring up training, that's not happening. Your data is secure. It's not being used to train any models. So. Yeah. Sure. And I am on the customer advisory board, and we did talk Tuesday. I mean, I can't share the things we talked about, but they do have a specifically like AI roadmap, Domo does, and it may or may not include that type of improvement. But they do have a roadmap. I know that. So.
And there's also different models that they actually let you use from Domo There's a small, medium, like a light one, a medium one, and a large one, and we're using the medium one in this case. But that tells me that they're going to have more additional versions in different sizes, but I can't tell you for sure.
Also, if you're not concerned about, like, if InfoSec's like, yeah, use whatever you want, there are other models you can use. You don't have to use DomoGPT. But we chose it, once again, because InfoSec's like, oh, gotta use, yeah.
Most of the examples you said used, like, you were talking about, like, customer feedback and things like that. It felt very, I guess I want to use the word, like, fluffy data and, like, people explaining emotions and how they feel about certain things. Would it handle, like, I'm thinking in manufacturing, we have quality engineers explaining defects and things like that. And so we have defect codes that are being entered and applied. But I mean, maybe the Harry Potter example is the thing, but how would it handle something that's a little bit more technical from their commentary? Does that make sense?
Great question. So the closest example I have is actually when I was first testing this out, I'm a backcountry snowboarder, and so I had a bunch of avalanche data that I wanted to put in there with like specific avalanche types and like partial burial, full burial, and like were they carried, did they die from trauma or from burial, like all this data, which is kind of morbid, sorry, but but anyway. I ran that through it, and it did a great job. The prompt I asked it is, if rather than like making a card and trying to parse out from the text data, I just put it in there and said, can you tell me the breakdown of avalanche fatalities? You know, what percentage were full, partial, the types, and it gave me a full kind of analysis of, yeah, 25% or full burial, whatever. So I think it would handle, I mean, in my case, it handled it decently well. I don't know how technical the language is. Once again, this is text analysis, and so if it's like, you know, like IDs or codes, I don't know. But if it's just like something, because we've also done we're out of time, shoot.
Do you want to talk to her after?
We can talk, so yeah, that's how I'll end is connect with us. Also, we'll hang around outside. They don't want us hanging in here. We got to all leave. But if you want to come see us in the hallway, we'll have robes on and happy to answer your questions. So
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I don't want you to leave.